I'm going to show you how to make a delicious baked scallop with a lovely aromatic compound butter. Everyone gets really worried about how to pan-sear scallops perfectly, but this is a really good way to know that you're going to cook them perfectly with a lovely texture, and the butter is just packed full of aromatic flavours that's going to make the scallop sing. The butter is made with butter and lovely herbs. So we've got a bunch of coriander there, some really fresh vibrant parsley, and we want to add a bit more flavour with knobs of ginger and some garlic. And then it's a case of blending that together until it's a homogeneous kind of butter, and then we're going to chill it and cut it into discs and pop them on top of our scallops later on. Now we've got that lovely compound butter formed and mixed together, I'm going to show you a little trick of how you can get it into a lovely cylinder that's going to be useful later on. Empty it onto some greaseproof paper. Try and get it into a little bit of a line. Now that you've got that into sort of a rough cylinder almost, fold it over, like so, and hold the bottom, and using a board scraper, just pull it towards you, and that butter will automatically go into a lovely cylinder. I'll show you like this. If you hold the bottom and just push down like that, you just form this lovely, neat cylinder, which is going to be really helpful for us later on, because we need to cut this into discs that will sit on top of the scallops. Once you got there, roll it in, like so. And twist one end, and twist the other end. Pop that in the fridge for about an hour, and then it will chill nicely. You can cut it into discs and pop it on your scallops. So let's make the Beurre Blanc now. To start, we're just going to put a few knobs of butter in there and let that soften out. But we don't want any colour on the butter, because that will end up colouring the Beurre Blanc, and that's not what we want. As you can see, that butter has just melted, hasn't got any colour to it at all. Go in with your shallots. Mix them around. And you just want them to colour a little bit, so just on about a medium heat, and let that bubble away. Now's quite a good time to add a pinch of salt, not too much, because you've got to remember that the butter we're putting in is salted butter. So now that the shallots have softened in the butter, we're going to go in with white wine vinegar and white wine. And turn up the heat and let that reduce to a fairly syrupy kind of texture. I would reduce it by at least half. Now that you've reduced the wine and the white wine vinegar, just pass it through a sieve to catch all the shallots. Now that we've got that reduced liquid, we're going to add that back to the clean pan, and we're going to start making our Beurre Blanc. So this is the most important part of making a Beurre Blanc. We're adding in cold knobs of butter gradually and constantly whisking as well, because you want the butter to emulsify. That's what makes it thick. I'm going one knob at a time, and just as that knob starts to nearly fully emulsify away, I'll add in the next one. If you add it all in too quickly, it will split and you won't get that lovely thickness that comes from emulsifying things gradually. Okay. We're going to finish off with a sprinkling of chives, and then we're ready to serve. You want a really nice fine dice for the chive Beurre Blanc. So now we're on to prepping our lovely scallops. First thing is, get yourself some cold water and season it quite heavily with salt, because we're going to wash the scallops in that. Get your scallops into that cold salty water. So these scallops don't have a roe on them because the fishmonger's already taken it off, but what they do still have attached is this, and that is the adductor muscle. If you leave it on, it gets pretty tough, so it's really simple. You just peel it off and it comes away just like that. And then you've got a lovely scallop that's prepared, and now we need to pat the scallop dry before we can season it. So pop it on some kitchen roll and let that dry, and move on to the others. So just pat them dry all over. And season each scallop all over. Get your scallops into the tray that you're going to be using. Don't pack them too tightly together because you don't want them to steam. Right, so our butter that we made earlier has chilled, and we've got this, look at that vibrant green butter in a perfect cylinder. So what we need to do now is create some discs out of that. So you want them about 1/2 centimetre thick. Bring your scallops back over, and then you literally just place one disc on each scallop. Pop them into the oven for about 4 minutes at 220 degrees, and the butter will melt and become lovely and charred on top. Get a lovely base of that Beurre Blanc. Place these beautiful scallops. And there's some really lovely herby buttery oil in the bottom of the scallops that I'm just going to pour all over. Throw an extra bit. Top with a few chives, then we're done.